My name is Walter Beebe Center. I serve as the Property Commissioner on the Board of Managers. My pronouns are he, him. I'm tall, bald with a beard. Today I'm wearing a white shirt and jeans. We try to make our service as accessible as possible with hearing helpers available from the ushers. Paper copies of our weekly newsletter are available at the entrances to the building. And if you want to sign up to receive an emailed copy each week, please speak to a greeter or an usher. Our annual retreat to Saco, Maine takes place the weekend of September 19th, 20th, and 21st. Registration to participate closes on Friday, September 12th. For more information, see the newsletter, which is also available on our website. Our minister's house move was delayed, so Reverend Elka will be taking a leave until the end of August and will return part-time in September to be available for emergencies. For other items, in the meantime, please contact the pastoral care team or our president, Deb Jose. Next week is the last consortium service at First Parish in Lincoln. The week after that, we here at First Parish in Waltham will be celebrating our ingathering and water service. This year, we invite you to think about a place you have felt a sense of belonging, whether it's your kitchen, the library, your backyard, a favorite river or stream, a friend or family member's home, your work, a team or group or club you're part of, etc. Gather a small amount of water from that place and bring it with you to church on September 7th. Today's service isn't what was planned. Unfortunately, our speaker is indisposed, and we're incredibly grateful that April Rosario, our Director of Faith Formation, and Emma Campbell, our Music Director, have agreed to come in today on their days off and lead us in worship. Thank you very much. Finally, if you wish to light a candle to mark a joy or a sorrow, we invite you to come up during any of the musical pieces of the service and do so, right over there. This is the end of today's announcements. Please check that you've silenced your phone and other communication devices. And now please turn around and wave to the lovely people who are joining us via Zoom. The video camera is just to the right of the exit sign above the door.
This morning, we gather. We gather at a threshold between the seasons, between summer's warmth that is still around us and autumn's energy ahead. We gather as a people who know the courage it takes to let go, the beauty of holding one another, and the hope that lies just beyond. Here in this sanctuary this morning, we practice together the art of faith, the art of flying between the bars. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is April Rosario. My pronouns are she, her. I am a Black woman in my late 30s. I have shoulder-length dreadlocks and glasses. This morning, I am wearing a floor-length dress. It's black and multi-texture on the top with floral cream and brown details on the bottom. I'm the Director of Lifespan Faith Formation here at First Parish, and I am so glad to be with you today. I'm glad because Sunday mornings are a special time, a time when we gather together to live out our dreams, to help one another, and to be part of something greater than ourselves. Because together, we find meaning, strength, and love to help guide us in all that we do. We gather today in community, with open hearts and minds, knowing that gratitude is a practice, a choice, and a powerful force of transformation in our lives. So friends, let us take a deep breath together and settle into this time and space as we are joined by our worship committee chair, B, who will light this morning's chalice. We light hope.
Am I good? We light this chalice as a beacon of hope, a sign of courage, and a reminder that in every transition, love is our constant companion.
Thank you, B.
Oh.
I invite you all now to please rise in body or spirit as you are willing and able, and join us in our opening hymn, which is number 1018 in the teal hymnal, Come and Go With Me. I invite you to sit or remain standing, whatever is comfortable in your body, and join me in our unison affirmation. Now, normally we do this all together as one, and we say it's printed in your order of service, and it starts with the word love. But we don't have that order of service with us today, so we're going to do it a little differently. For anyone that may not know the words by heart, I will say the first line, and then we will all say it in unison together, and then I'll do the next line and the next line. That way, everyone is included. And it starts with the word love. Love is the spirit of this church, and love is the spirit of this church, and service its law, and service its law. This is our great covenant. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace. To dwell together in peace. To seek the truth in love. To seek the truth in love. And to help one another. If you're still standing, you may be seated. I'm doing dual roles today, but this part of the service is one of my favorites. It's a moment where I get to tell you a story. I love to tell stories. I especially love this story. It's called The Farmer's Luck, and it's a Taoist wisdom story. It's a story about maybes. I love a good maybe. And this story starts off like so many of my favorites do. Now, if you are new or visiting from another congregation, don't worry. Very quickly, you will understand how my favorite stories start. If First Parish in Waltham is your home congregation, please help me start my story with Once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a farmer in ancient China who owned a horse. One day, he had hitched his horse to his cart and was driving down the road when a neighbor stopped him. "Oh," said the neighbor, "you are so lucky to have a horse, especially a horse strong enough to pull your cart." The neighbor was pulling and pushing a cart of their own. The farmer nodded, smiled, and said, "Maybe, maybe not." That night, after a long day's work, when the farmer returned home to put the horse and the cart and all of his belongings away, he forgot to latch the gate properly, and the horse ran away. The next morning, the neighbor had stopped by and realized that the horse was not in its usual place. "Oh, no!" the neighbor exclaimed. "What happened?" "My horse ran away," said the farmer. "That is terrible news," said the neighbor. The farmer nodded, smiled, shrugged, and said, "Maybe, maybe not." A few days later, the horse returned, bringing with it 6 wild horses. They made quite a commotion. The whole neighborhood turned out. The very friendly neighbor was right at the fence. "Oh!" the neighbor clapped. "How fantastic! 6 wild horses. You are so lucky." Everybody cheered. The farmer smiled, nodded, shrugged, and said, "Maybe, maybe not." The following week, the farmer's child was breaking in one of the wild horses when it threw it to the ground. The child broke its leg. Again, the whole village gathered, wanting to show concern. The very outspoken neighbor was first among them. "Oh no, this for you, neighbor. Your child's leg is broken. This is terrible. I bet you can guess what the farmer did. The farmer smiled, nodded, shrugged their shoulders, and said, maybe, maybe not. The very next day, as the sun was rising, soldiers came and took every young child away to fight in the army. The farmer's child with the broken leg was left behind. "Oh," said the very outspoken neighbor, wiping their brow. "This is such a relief. You're so lucky your child is still here." The farmer nodded, smiled, shrugged his shoulders, and said, maybe, maybe not. And so on, the story goes. What's the point of that story, April? Some of you might be asking yourselves, really? That's one of your favorites? That's the one you chose for today? I chose this story because it is one of my favorites, and because it reminds us that we cannot always know the future separate from the present moment. Sometimes we must live faithfully in the in-between. I always like to end my stories with a challenge, a faith in action option, if you will. So friends, here is your challenge for this week. I invite you, if you want to notice the place in your life where you feel stuck, clinging to a single story, a good thing or a bad thing, great luck or terrible luck. Pause, and as hard as it might be, practice being like the farmer, saying, maybe, maybe not. And then ask yourself, what possibility, great or small, might be hiding in this transition? And then if you're willing, share that with somebody you trust. Somebody from your community, a friend, a family member, your journal. Because faith is not about certainty. It's about the courage that we find in the in-between. It's about remembering that when we trust the maybes in our lives, we create space for transformation. This week, may we practice living faithfully in the in-between. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able, and join us in our second hymn of the morning, number 1012, When I Am Frightened, also found in the Teal hymnal. be seated. Normally, this is the spot in our service where I take all of our kids and youth off. And though I don't see lots of kids and youth today, I do want to invite people to move if they need to. There are Soulworks objects, there are quiet toys and coloring pages and fidgets and all types of things in the back. So I invite you to experience worship in the way that makes sense for you. And if that means you need to move your body or you need to get up, you're more than welcome to do so. As we move into our moment of meditation and prayer, I invite you to close your eyes as you are comfortable, or soften your gaze. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your pew if you're here in the sanctuary, or your chair, or your couch, or your bed if you're at home supporting you. And take a slow breath in. And then let it out. Again, a deep, steadying breath in and release. Transitions are all around us. The morning gives way to afternoon. Soon the summer will yield to autumn. One chapter in life folds into another. Sometimes transitions are welcome, a long-awaited change, a door opening. And sometimes transitions are hard, a chapter closing too soon, a threshold we didn't see coming or we didn't choose. And yet life itself is a series of transitions. As we just practice, one breath rises to give way to the next that falls. Our hearts open and close, our spirits expand and contract, always in motion. So now in this moment, I invite you to picture yourself at a threshold. A doorway between what has been and what is not yet. Notice what you are carrying with you. Your hopes, your fears, your griefs, your joys. Notice how it feels as you stand there in that threshold. And now imagine that you are not alone. You are surrounded by the love of this community and the communities you have beyond these walls, by the wisdom of those who came before, and by the mystery and wonder of the universe itself. Take a breath and trust you can step forward. Trust that the ground will rise to meet you. Trust that you have what you need for the next part of your journey. Hold that trust in your heart for a moment. Breathe in and breathe out. Spirit of life, breath of love that moves through all things, be with us in the tender places of change. We know that life is full of beginnings and endings, hellos and goodbye, seasons of holding on and seasons of letting go. And for those of us in the midst of joyful transitions, new jobs, new homes, new relationships, new adventures, we pause to savor that sweetness. And for those of us in the midst of hard transitions, loss, uncertainty, endings that come too soon, may we feel the comfort of this community and the gentle strength of your presence. Help us to remember that no transition lasts forever, and that change itself can be a teacher. Help us to hold the unfolding, to lean into the mystery, to believe that even in uncertainty, there is love enough to carry us through. In all our transitions, may we journey together in courage, in compassion, and in trust. May it be so. I would now like to invite B back up again to lead us into our invitation to generosity.
All summer service offerings today and all this summer are going to Pink Haven Coalition. As more than 550 legislative acts in the last year have sought to eradicate transgender people from public life, Pink Haven works to create networks of safety and direct support for trans people and their families who need to relocate to safer areas, to access health care across state lines, or to stay as safe as possible where they are. Pink Haven is grounded in the knowledge that trans lives are sacred, that liberation is a group project, and that no one is free until everyone is free. Checks should be made out directly to Pink Haven Coalition. Electronic donations can be made at pinkhaven.org. Do we have a link for that in the chat? I don't know. If not, it's pinkhaven.org. And cash offerings are of course welcome and will be forwarded to Pink Haven. Thank you for your generosity.
Good morning. My name is Gary Madison. I'm a short, bald, bearded, 70-something white male, pronouns he, him, wearing a green and black print shirt.
And I'm Marty Aarons. I'm a 68-year-old, gray-haired white woman, pronouns she, her, wearing jeans and a maroon and white floral print blouse. Our reading, Parable of the Trapeze, is excerpted from Danaan Perry's Warrior of the Heart.
Sometimes I feel that my life is a series of trapeze swings. I'm either hanging on to a trapeze bar, swinging along, or for a few moments, I'm hurtling across space between the trapeze bars.
Mostly, I spend my time hanging on for dear life to the trapeze bar of the moment. It carries me along a certain steady rate of swing, and I have the feeling that I'm in control. I know most of the right questions, and even some of the right answers, but once in a while, as I'm merrily, or not so merrily, swinging along, I look ahead of me into the distance, and what do I see?
I see another trapeze bar looking at me. It's empty. And I know, in that place in me that knows, that this new bar has my name on it. It is my next step, my growth, my aliveness coming to get me. In my heart of hearts, I know that for me to grow, I must release my grip on the present well-known bar to move to a new one.
Each time it happens, I hope, no, I pray, that I won't have to grab the new one. But in my knowing place, I know that I must totally release my grasp on my old bar. And for some moments in time, I must hurtle across the space before I can grab the new bar. Each time I do this, I am filled with terror. It doesn't matter that in all my previous hurdles, I have always made it.
Each time I am afraid I will miss, that I will be crushed on unseen rocks in the bottomless basin between the bars. But I do it anyway. I must. Perhaps this is the essence of what the mystics call faith. No guarantees, no net, no insurance. But we do it anyway because hanging on to the old bar is no longer an option. And so, for what seems to be an eternity but actually lasts a microsecond, I soar across the dark void called the past is over, the future is not yet here. It's called a transition. I have come to believe that it is the only place that real change occurs.
I have a sneaking suspicion that the transition zone is the only real thing, and the bars are the illusions we dream up to not notice the void. Yes, with all the fear that can accompany transitions, they are still the most vibrant, growth-filled, passionate moments in our lives. And so transformation of fear may have nothing to do with making fear go away, but rather with giving ourselves permission to hang out in the transition zone between the trapeze bars, allowing ourselves to dwell in the only place where change really happens.
It can be terrifying. It can also be enlightening. Hurtling through the void, we just may learn to fly.
Here ends today's reading.
This summer, I had the pleasure of leading a Soul Matters adult faith formation group. And over the course of our time together, we revisited 2 of the spiritual themes that we had explored during the past church year. We revisited joy, and we just finished up revisiting imagination. This past Wednesday was our final group. And as we were wrapping up our exploration of imagination, we were sharing some of the spiritual exercises that we had each chosen. A few of us, myself included, had chosen the exercise entitled, Your 5 Imagined Lives. This exercise came from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, and it invited us to imagine, quote, if you had 5 other lives to lead, what would you do for each of them? The answers that people came up with were wonderful. Some were serious, some were playful, some were surprising. My own list of 5 got quite a few chuckles and I think surprised quite a few people. One of the things on my list was a trapeze artist. At first, it made me laugh because, as I shared in our group, A, I am not particularly acrobatic, and B, I definitely don't do heights. This is about as high as I go. And yet something in me longed for this kind of daring, flying through the air kind of lifestyle. So did the other 4 things on my list. I am not normally a risk taker, but when I'm imagining 5 other lives, why not? In previous groups, I had mentioned that I am a person who tends to live on the safe side of things because safe is easy and it's comfortable, and why not? But the more I thought about it, especially as I sat down to think about what I wanted to say today, I think something in me recognized that the trapeze is not just a circus act. For me, at least, it's also a spiritual metaphor. The parable of the trapeze, the one that Marty and Gary just shared, began like this. Sometimes I feel that my life is a series of trapeze swings, and I am hanging on to the trapeze bar swinging along, or for a few moments, I'm hurtling across space between the trapeze bar. It's such a clear image, right? You and I swinging along, holding on for dear life, sometimes soaring through the air with a thrilling confidence, and sometimes tumbling, terrified, in that space between what is and what will be. This is a parable I found years ago and kind of tucked away in my maybe someday sermon pile. Every few months I would go through that pile and I would look at it and I would be like, I don't know what to do with that yet. And I'd tuck it back away. In our Soul Matters group, we talk about the things that shimmer for us, the questions or the exercises, the things that stick out. And when I was trying to figure out what to do today, going through that pile, boy, did that one shimmer. And maybe it shimmered because of the time of year that it is. I have just returned from a summer on Star Island with my family. I am frantically trying to do school shopping and back to school, and does this kid have the charger for their Chromebook, and does that kid's shoes fit, and oh my God, how did you break the zipper on your backpack type of transitions between when I checked it on Monday and it was fine, and Tuesday right before we went to the store. Those are the transitions that I'm in. But for all of us, when we walk into a store, we can see that school supplies are making way and being replaced with, or beach toys are being replaced with school supplies. For many of us, our vacations are winding down and our schedules are starting to fill. Our church life, too, is about to enter a new season full of energy and programs. Summer is the bar that we have all been holding on to. Some of us might still be holding on to it. Its slower rhythms, its looser boundaries, its warmth. And now, here we are, getting ready, some of us may be more ready than others, to reach for the new bar that's coming. Autumn, with its energy and its structure and its possibilities. And like in the parable, there is a moment when we are all going to have to let go to get from one to the next. Transitions can be exhilarating, and that's a big capital A-N-D, they can be disorienting. We like the sense of control that comes from holding on to the bar we know, but when a new bar appears with our names on it, we know deep down that growth requires us to let go. But the in-between can feel like chaos. Think about it. The last day in one home before the first day in a new. A moment of grief from when someone you loved has died, but life without them has not yet begun to fully take shape. The space between is holy. Sacred, yes. Scary, yes. But holy. The mystics call it faith. The Buddhists call it impertinence. We, as Unitarian Universalists, might call it living in covenant, because covenant is not a fixed place. It is a relationship we choose, again and again as it evolves. I wonder, what have you learned this summer while holding on to your slow days summer trapeze bar? Maybe you learned the sweetness of stillness. Maybe you discovered that you are stronger than you thought. Maybe you found joy in something simple. Time outside, time with friends, time with yourself. And now, the seasons, life, the rhythm of people are saying it's time to let go, to take what we've learned over the summer and release our grip on it for something new. Who wants to do that? But the danger is to cling so tightly to the bar that we have that we refuse the transformation that is awaiting us. The invitation, instead, is to breathe into the unknown. The parable says, perhaps this is the essence of what the mystics call faith. No guarantees, no net, no insurance, but we do it anyway. For UUs, faith doesn't mean believing the impossible or accepting an ancient creed. Faith is trusting that life continues to unfold with possibility. Faith is daring to soar, even when we cannot be sure of where the landing is. It's trusting that the community will catch us, that love will hold us, and that we are not alone in the void. And friends, this is the gift of our collective congregations. To be that net, even when something nagging at us tells us it isn't there. to hold one another, to encourage one another, to say, yes, the next bar is yours. Reach for it. We'll be here if you need us. So as we come to the end of our summer, towards the end of our collective services, with one more left to go next Sunday, as we get ready to enter a new season together, I invite you to notice what bar you are clinging to, as well as the one that has your name on it, beckoning you forward. I invite you to notice the space in between, the maybe not. Be aware of the soaring, the free fall, and the uncertainty, for that is where the Spirit dwells. That is where life transforms us. That is where we discover that we do not just fall, we fly. May it be so. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit as you are willing and able, and join us in our closing hymn, which is number 95, found in your gray hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere. Friends, as we move from summer to fall, may we carry with us the courage to let go, the hope in the in-between, and the faith to reach forward. And may we discover together that even in the void, we are learning to fly. Thank you so much for your presence here today. I hope that you will all stay and join us for coffee hour, which is just through those doors, and then down the hall and a right to Whitcomb Hall after the postlude. May you go in peace. May you go in hope. May you go in joy. and may you share it with the wider world. May it be so. You may be seated.